Hello, I would like to welcome you to Basic Human Anatomy course, ANAT1010. My name is Akram Jafar. Here is my contact information, email, and location. ANAT1010 is a large enrollment, 3-credit course, and it's a prerequisite for many academic disciplines in health sciences. The course has been developed into its present format by Professor Gary Allen for over a period of nearly 20 years, and it is designed to provide you with the tools for independent study of human anatomy. And upon successful completion of the course, you will be able to describe and identify at a basic level the gross anatomy and histology of the human body. Our main platform will be Brightspace. So you log in into Brightspace and you provide your net ID and password. This is DAL homepage. I'm going to Brightspace, providing my ID and password, and then you click on the course, ANAT1010 Basic Human Anatomy. This is the course homepage where announcements are found, and also the calendar. Usually the calendar shows the dates of the midterms and the final exam. And then you go directly to course content. First of all, there's course information. Read the summary or download the manual here, a PDF of the manual. And then you have to go to PowerPoint lectures, where you will find that the PowerPoint lectures are subdivided into 3 blocks. So there's block 1 lectures, block 2, and block 3. After each block, which is about 10 or 11 to 12 lectures, there will be a midterm examination. So there are 3 midterm examinations here apart from the final examination. So if you go to block 1, for example, you will find like these are the lectures for block 1: cells, tissues, integumentary system. And then there's at the end a revision lecture for midterm 1. You can click on that link and you can view the lecture or download it from Brightspace. So the first thing that you will find in on Brightspace are the PowerPoint lectures. Also, you will find here that there are screencast lectures. So there are, again, they are divided into 3 blocks, and these screencasts are actually, they are links to a YouTube channel. They are screencasts of the lectures, the PowerPoint presentations. And then in addition to that, the course contains also study guides. These are PDF files, again divided into 3 blocks. So for example, here for the lectures on the tissues, you will find the PowerPoint presentations, as I mentioned, you will find the screencast lectures, but in addition, you will find PDF files where you will find the text that you are required to study. Because the textbooks that I'm going to show you the textbook, but the textbook contain many information, and you are not required to study everything in the textbook. You are required to study the material that is present in the PowerPoint presentation and in the study guides, which is in one way or another, it is the text of the PowerPoint presentation. So regarding the lectures that you will find on Brightspace, there are PowerPoint lectures, there are screencast lectures of the PowerPoint lectures, and the study guides, which contain the material, the text of the PowerPoint presentations. And then the next thing that you will find here is the virtual anatomy labs. These are actually, they are videos. They were prepared by Professor Gary Allen. And again, they are divided into blocks. So these videos are for the practical material. They are not the screencast lectures. There are other type of videos. Not every lecture will be accompanied by a virtual lab. So here for block 1, you will find that there are videos on the axial skeleton, appendicular skeleton, and the muscular system. So if you click on that, you will find that there is a link for the video.
Hello, I'm Dr. Allen. Welcome to the Anatomy Lab. In today's lab, we'll be looking at the axial skeleton.
The videos of the virtual labs, you need to watch them, take some notes probably, and with each video there are some assignments. You will find them here. For example, let's say questions, or they are in the form of diagrams, and you are required to label these diagrams, for example. So these assignments actually, they are for your own self-study. You don't need to submit these assignments, but they will help you in taking the lab exam. because with each midterm exam, there is a lab exam. And the lab exam is based on material that is provided in the virtual anatomy lab. Some videos, I will show you examples. We will use screen captures of the some of the videos or some of the pictures or diagrams that are present in the textbook are and shown in the PowerPoint presentations, and you will be asked about them. The next item that you will find here is a link to the assessments. As I mentioned, that there's block 1, block 2, block 3, and the final examination. If we go to block 1, you will find that there's the midterm 1 and lab test 1 exam, and these are the dates of the exam. The exams will be open from 12:30 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. on the scheduled day. And you will find here that there are some of the exams that are tagged with SAS, which stands for Student Accessibility Services. And it's only those students who have these services will be able to access these exams, and they will use a special password for them. They need to contact me, and I will provide them with the password to access the SAS exams. And then there are links to Wiley Plus assignments. I will talk about them in a moment, and link for Top Hat and another tab for the DAL project. And also at the end here, there is some information about student declaration of absence. There's a form that you have to download and fill in case you need it. So again, the first platform that you are going to use is Brightspace, where you are going to find the PowerPoint presentations, you are going to find the screencast lectures, the virtual lab videos. There are also the study guides if you want to use them, and the virtual lab assignments, which you don't need to submit. The second platform which you are going to use is the Wiley Plus. And here's the course ID. You will need to buy the Wiley Plus either online, or you need to buy the book, the textbook. And the textbook is Tortora and Nelson, Principles of Human Anatomy, 14th edition. And the textbook comes with the code. So you will need this registration code. And once you sign in with your registration code, you will need to provide your course ID, which is A95494. Now I will go to Wiley Plus. And this is the Wiley Plus platform. I can freely access the textbook now, the e-textbook, Tortora and Nelson Principles of Human Anatomy. So here's the textbook. You can go here to chapters, sections, and so on. You will need to at least once a week, to go to the assignments, because these are weekly assignments. Most of the time, there will be 2 or 3 assignments in a week. The assignments, they carry the same titles of the lectures. You can start doing the assignment at the beginning of the week. You can see here, if I open the assignment of tissues, there are many questions here. These are multiple choice questions. For example, here, which of the following is not one of the 4 basic types of tissues comprising the human body? So the correct answer will be the skeletal tissue is not the main. Then you will check your answer. It's correct. And then you next and continue for the next question. And then you can, at the end, you send it to gradebook. You have to make sure that you send it to gradebook. Otherwise, you will not get your mark. Moving to the next question, for example, here, which of the following types of cell junctions allow communication between cells? So I'm going to choose an incorrect answer. I will use the tight junctions. They do not allow communication, but I'm just choosing this to see what's going to happen. Check the answer. It is incorrect. Your answer is incorrect. And then you have a second attempt. Okay, or before doing the second attempt, you can consult the e-textbook. Okay, so you can go to e-textbook, and you will be taken to the chapter and the section that deals with the cell junctions, read about it, and then go back and answer the question in a correct way. So the correct answer here is gap junctions, and then this is attempt to check answer, and your answer is correct. You can use the calendar here to give you an idea about when the assignments are due. Most of the assignments will be due on Monday, but you will be able to access them 1 week before. And you can access the assignment from the calendar. In addition to that, if you download the PDF file of the syllabus course outline from Brightspace, you will find that on page 11, there's a complete list of the assignments showing you the start date and the due date. You should keep in mind that there is a late penalty of 50%. So this late penalty of 50% will be applied for assignment due after midterm one. So block one assignments, you can submit them after the due date without having this penalty. But after midterm one, for block two and block three, you have to submit the assignments on the due date. Otherwise, there will be a penalty of 50% for not submitting the assignments, and this all the assignments will be open just one day before the final exam. And otherwise, after that, if you do the final exam, you will not be able to access the late assignments anymore. All these details, you will find them in the course syllabus. So all the assignments must be completed and submitted on Tuesday, April 16th by midnight. One thing here to be mentioned about the assignment is that the technical team at Wiley, they highly recommend that you use Chrome as your browser when you use Wiley Plus. This especially applies for Mac and iOS users. And as I mentioned, that when you are done with the assignment, it's important that you click on the Save to Gradebook. You can go to Gradebook and check your mark. If you don't see a grade on Wiley Plus Gradebook, then the assignment has not been submitted. And at the end of the term, I will not be able to pick up your mark. So now returning back, the course, first platform of the course is Brightspace, as I mentioned, where you will find the PowerPoint presentations, the screencast lectures of these presentations, the study guides, which contain the text of the presentations, as well as the virtual lab videos, which you are required to watch in order to pass your lab exams. And the second platform is the Wiley Plus assignments. These assignments actually are very important because they constitute 20% of your mark. This is the textbook that we are going to use. You can use an older edition, but you still need to have Wiley Plus. Now, the other component of this course is the optional activities, and these are actually two activities. You can collect up to 5 bonus marks: the top hat and the DAL project. You will find information about DAL project in the course outline as well as on the tab on Brightspace. To summarize, DAL project, as I mentioned, is an optional activity where you are required to produce a 5-minute anatomy video, preferably a group project. Not more than 3 students participate and their roles should be mentioned. And you choose a topic that is related to your own experience and interest. It's better before shooting the video to read the criteria on which these videos will be evaluated, like the content and quality, the impact of the message, the audience fit, and the technical aspects. All these, as I mentioned, are present in the syllabus. These videos will be uploaded on the discussion board on Brightspace, and students will be asked to provide their feedback in the form of like or dislike. And then at the end of the term, anatomy judges will vote on the projects and award grades. Okay, so up to 5 points per contributor, maximum of 15 points for the entire project. So the goal is to help you become more creative, critical, and collaborative, which will benefit your career. So this is the first optional activity. The second optional activity is the top hat. And here you need to use another platform, which is the Top Hat platform. In the online course, you will need to access the Top Hat at a certain time of the day when a lecture is scheduled. This is to keep you in pace daily with the course. Apart from the assignments, which are weekly assignments, there are almost daily because the lectures are scheduled, as you will find that in the course manual, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So you will need to access them on these days, the access to Top Hat on these days, which means that you study the lecture on the scheduled date. You will find the full schedule of the lectures in the course outline starting from page 8. So you'll need to register for Top Hat. Here's the Top Hat homepage where you register and log in, and you need to use the code. The course code is this one, 019480. Log in, choose the course ANAT1010 Winter 2019, and you will find that there are homework assignments here. For each lecture, there are 3 or 4 questions. As I said, that access to these questions is only restricted to the day where the lecture is scheduled, which is either Monday or Wednesday or Friday, and during a certain time, which is 4:30 to 11:59 p.m. Atlantic time. By the way, all the times that are mentioned here are Atlantic times. These questions you will be able to answer after you study the lecture. Actually, the lecture will guide you to when it will be the proper time to answer each of these questions. Let's take, for example, the first lecture, Introduction to Basic Human Anatomy. So this is the first lecture, which starts with the levels of organization, for example. And as you will go through the slides, you will find that there are some slides that carry the logo of Top Hat, as well as the question title you should be ready to answer at that point. So here you are ready. After you've studied this slide, you will be able to answer the question that is related to the anatomical position. So I'm going to go to Top Hat, click on the question and answer it. It is important here to note that you will get zero point 0.5 of the mark for participation and zero point 0.5 of the mark for correctness. So even if your answer was incorrect, you will get zero point 0.5 mark. And then by the end of the course, the total score will be calculated out of 5%, and this will be added to the course grade as bonus marks. If you participate in both DAL project and the Top Hat, then the maximum points that you can get as a bonus are 5. It is very important here that when you register for Top Hat or even for Wiley Plus is to use the same name and email address that you used in Brightspace when you sign up for them, because and otherwise this will create some grading problems when I copy or mark from Top Hat and add them to the marks that you will get on Brightspace from your midterms and final examination. So there are 3 places, there are 3 gradebooks that you are going to deal with. One gradebook is on Wiley Plus for Wiley Plus assignments, and these constitute 20% of your mark. And there is another gradebook which is located on Top Hat for the 5% mark that you are going to get as a bonus mark. And then there's another gradebook which will carry 80% of your mark divided into 3 midterms. Each midterm is a midterm and lab exam, and then you will the final exam. These constitute 80% of your mark. You will find them on Brightspace. All the exams are online exams, and all the exams are taken on Brightspace. You can take the exam from anywhere in the world, but you should follow the Atlantic times. The exam will be open on the day where the exam is scheduled from early in the morning, 12:30 a.m. until 11:30 p.m. You make sure that there are 2 exams each time, and once you enter the exam, then there is only 1 hour to finish the exam. You should not enter both exams at the same time. The exam password is ANAT, and there's another password for the SAS students, as I mentioned. There is a practice exam, which I highly recommend that you take. You'll not be graded for it. You can take it as much as you like. You can access it from content, assessment, and practice exam. So there are 2 exams here, practice test and practice lab test. I will click on the test. It contains sample questions for the exams. You will find that there are 45 multiple choice questions in the actual exam, and you will have 1 hour to answer them. In the final exam, which is a cumulative exam, it will be in 2 hours, and there are 90 questions to be answered within the 2 hours. So you should be very careful with time here. So when you click on the exam, this is the summary that you will get. Then you are required to enter the exam password. ANAT is the exam password, and then you can take the exam. It is mentioned here that the timer will not begin until after the setup process is finished. And then after you enter the password, you click Start Quiz, and the timer starts counting here. So this is what you see, 1 page with 1 question. You can navigate from here. You can go back and forth and then answer the question, which of the following statements regarding epithelium is incorrect? So it is not highly vascularized. And then next page, and you will get the next question, and so on. You can skip and then return back, and then at the end, you have to click on Submit Quiz. And when you submit quiz, you will be notified that you have some questions are still remaining unanswered questions. So then you can go back and answer these questions. And at the end, you will submit the quiz and then immediately will get your feedback. So for example, here I get 1 out of 10 from this exam. And then after you are done, you should go for the next exam. It's up to you to start with the lab tests or with the midterm exam. Now I'm going to go to show you an example of lab test. So this is the lab test. Start quiz after you enter the password. And here's the first question. Question 1. Choose the most appropriate answer, usually. Identify the type of bone indicated as A. So there are types of bones here. There are long bones, flat bones, short bones, irregular bones, and sesamoid bones. This bone is the patella, and it is a sesamoid bone. And then you move to the next page. And then the question is, which of the following layers is the stratum granulosum? And it will be C, and then you next page. So the questions, as you will find here, some of the questions are taken from the pictures that are present in the lecture, from the textbook, or from the lab. This is a screenshot from the lab video, and so on. More details of grading of examinations are provided in the course outline on page 6. And as I said, you don't need to come to Dalhousie to take the exam. You can take the exam from anywhere, but you should follow the schedule in Atlantic time. And you don't need to provide a proctor as well, because there's a big pool of questions and the questions are randomly selected and it is an open book examination. One important consideration is to keep in mind is the time. So don't spend too much time on a question that you will not be able to find the answer in a short time. One last point is about the student declaration of absence form, which you will find on one tab on Brightspace. These replace the sick notes for absences of 3 days or less that result in missed or late academic requirements. You will need to submit this form by email to me, as well as the necessary documentation. Please don't hesitate to write to me about any other details. And as I said, I highly recommend that you read the course outline. You download the PDF file from the course information on Brightspace. Finally, Dr. Allen and myself are looking forward to working with you this semester. Thank you.